So guys, welcome. Um, Today we'll be trying to create a very important report for businesses in the 21st century. Because a lot of companies these days are trying to go green, and hence you get things like ESG. So I don't know, most of us might have heard about ESG. ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance. Now, due to the fact that companies would want to move forward, also get what they call them investors, you understand. And most of this investment comes with a little bit of um, agreement on trying to promote or protect the earth. So it is structured in a way that it helps build operation and also increases performance in a lot of ways, you understand. So we'll be talking about ESG and why it matters. And let's just take for instance in a what they call it in a retail setup. The ESG is very important because there are a lot of waste being produced. Also, aside from retail setups, in also financial industries, there is also waste being populated. Now, other certain industries might generate more waste than the others. So ESG in one industry might be different in the other industry. So it is quite industry specific. So why ESG matters today, we're talking about global shift on sustainability for businesses. So 73% of investors consider ESG factors in their decision. So you see, for investors to come into your business, they now take it as something very important. Now, the $5 trillion in global annum committed to responsible investment. There is also 67% of consumers who prefer sustainable brands, and there is an 86% of C-suite views ESG as business priority. Now, let's talk about these two, investors and also consumers. Let's leave about the other ones. Now, it is sometimes tough and it impacts businesses a lot in the fact that certain businesses will have to spend more in order to be ESG compliant, yes, in order to be more sustainable. So you as a data analyst, what do you do at that point? You need to come in to share more light, to throw more light that, oh, we can do this in a better way. How can we do this? When we track. When we track, what do we track? That's when you come in as a data analyst. So the business case for ESG. So revenue growth, green products, premium, and they are quite expensive for green products. Brand loyalty increases by 28% because it is known, it is a general study, although I have not had the time to go through it, that people, consumers, rely on ESG compliant or sustainable compliant businesses. In fact, I've seen, but I've not read about it that deep. I've seen customers who would rather come to you because they feel you're trying to save the earth or something because of your ESG compliance. And there are certain people that comes to you because they feel like they are loyal to you because they feel like they have this bias in when people are not ESG compliant. So another thing to look is cost reduction, energy efficiency, cut costs 12 to most of the times, honestly speaking. I would actually tell you it is expensive to be ESG compliant, but it is sustainable on the long run if it is being tracked properly. That's where you again come in as a data analyst to help them track whatever they are doing so that we don't lose as a company. In fact, what we are interested in as a company, we are interested in improving performance, improving productivity, taking out inefficiencies, and some of those inefficiencies can be caused due to the fact that we want to implement something in the company, and things like ESG can be that. So risk mitigation reduces regulatory penalties. This is a lot. Some regulatory bodies are now springing up, trying to push businesses to be ESG compliant. One of such regulations was around the world, like early this year. We heard that a lot of countries were trying to take out plastics their certain business operations. Yes, you can see or find that. So there was a ratio of plastic, either those of 0.2, I've forgotten the exact value, would not be given out in certain businesses. So a lot of people were now rushing to get paper bags or something that is a little bit compliant and does not destroy the planet. So regulatory bodies are now taking it serious, and it also brings disruption in supply chain as well. So it also attracts talent. Yes, 72% percent of workers prefer ESG companies, and it lowers turnover, people that go out from time to time. Now, the challenge, why most companies struggle with ESG reporting: data fragmentation, ESG data scattered across systems. Sadly, certain companies do not have a structure to actually capture ESG properly. So what they do is they just leave it open, anything that comes in. Certain companies also take it manually. You understand? They do things manually. So it is very important that we know all of this. Lack of visibility, you can't track those matrices across stores, across departments. So it's tasking sometimes. Only companies that really love to care about the environment will really put this into action. Limited insights, no actionable intelligence from raw data, resource constraint, too many matrices, too few analysts, compliance risk, difficulty in proving ESG impact to stakeholders. Now, it is one thing to have the data, it is another thing to know what you're actually looking for in the data. So, this is why we're here. I am here to introduce you and bring you forward to most of these opportunities that you can find in these areas. So we'll also go forward to turning data into strategic advantage. What your dashboard should do, it should be visible, it should be intelligent, and it should be actionable. So it gives you an advantage if you can. Your dashboards should cover all of this. Your dashboards and reports. Now, these are your deliverables, what we'll be expecting from you this week and next week. This is actually the last project we work on, so that we'll also look out for other places where I can help you, like your Instagram. We'll also look at that, learn how to optimize your Instagram. Then we'll also talk about how you make posts on your Instagram so that you sound professional at all times and you don't just post anything. So, what we are trying to do is get clients. We're not here to play. We are trying to build our portfolios in a way that it is easy for us to get clients. So once you get this project done, the next thing is you start shooting, applying, and learning. So The data analyst playbook community is always here. Even after this our cohort ends, I won't have another free cohort this year again. I won't have another free cohort this year. From time to time, would meet and would also discuss projects that we try to work on weekly and even if monthly. Let's not overshoot ourselves. Let's say monthly. I'll try to work up on projects that we'll be working on monthly, even after the cohort ends. So I have been able to introduce you to three things. Aside sales, which is a critical analytical aspect or reporting aspect in your data analyst career. Healthcare, which is another critical analytical aspect. You have supply chain, which is very important. This I'm just introducing you and telling you so that you go about knowing these areas, pinpoint areas that you can look into and you would want to improve on all of that. You now have marketing or digital marketing analytical informations and matrices that you can improve on. You also now have a general knowledge on ESG. I know, yes, research is very important. Most of the um, reports or dashboards we've been creating, I am more important. I am more I've given more importance to the research aspect of it because your dashboards are they are nonsense if you can't explain it. And if you see here in one of the challenges we discussed about ESG, one of the challenges is um, difficulty to prove ESG impact to stakeholders. This I've seen it happen, and I've seen how it affected the company. They just give you data, you just do anything, just do anything, and it brings a lot of problems for them. So lack of visibility, there is also too many matrices, too few analysts. Now, a lot of people try to just analyze anything they see. They don't know that there are more matrices you can actually look out for in your ESG practice. So it is important that we look out for all of this. So your capabilities as a data analyst, these are some of the things you can do in the ESG framework, which is um, the part we are talking about right now. We are talking about ESG framework understanding, which you need. You need to read about it. You need to be know about compliance reporting, sustainability metrics, and risk assessment, which are part of ESG. So I also shared something recently about communication, soft skills that a data analyst can build, and one of them is communication. I think I am not the best to talk about communication, but I have a gift in communicating. Probably I have a gift in communicating one on one better, you understand. I don't know if it's because I've taught all my life. I have been teaching since I was born, yeah, because I grew up in that will be for later to not be on recording. So I've been teaching and I kind of like can communicate with anybody, so it helps me. So your communication skill should be top. You understand? Your writing also should be top because I see a lot of us we just try to do anything as it goes, as it comes. It is important for us to also know how to write properly and your data storytelling skills as well. So this is where we'll end the session for today. I don't know if you have any question for me. If you have any question for me, this is time for question and answer.